Hi and welcome to a new video. In today's video I'm gonna show you a very beautiful and instructive example about pins. If you think you already know everything about pins, maybe this is still new for you. Have you ever wondered what is a perpetual pin? Watch this video till the end and you will find out. We will now start with having a look at the position, and the position is taken from one of my online games. And I was a pawn down at this point, but I had some great compensation because my king was active, his pawns were under some pressure, and at this moment I could already regain some material. And that's the question for you. Can you spot a possibility how white can win back material and maybe even win the game? So if you want to challenge yourself, pause the video here and we will straight continue with the solution, which is rook takes e4. So let's first have a look at certain elements in the position, why we can come up with such a move as rook takes e4. So let's talk about weaknesses in black's position, and there are quite many. Basically, I would count all those pawns as quite weak. He needs to defend them. Also, this pawn is weak. This pawn is also pinned. And so this pawn on e4 might also be weak. Even though it seems protected twice, it's just protected once. And once you have a look at the position and you're trying to find some tactics, you should always consider the captures first. And there are not so many captures, just two moves. And bishop takes f5, it would give away the bishop, so this is not to recommend. And rook takes e4 is the only other capture. And once you consider this move, you will realize the pawn is not allowed to take because of the pin. And if the rook takes, we have a fork. We have already gained two pawns and we try to win back the rook, and then we would be a pawn up. However, things are not that easy. If you've finished your calculation here, it was a bit too early because black can save the rook by playing rook e6. So now, if you have not thought about this response, you can stop the video again and try to think from here once again. If you have already spotted this and also found the refutation, that's very good. And we will have a look how white can still play for a win here despite being a whole rook down. And the answer is it's because of this pin. And we can increase the pressure on this pin with the very natural king takes f7. Now we threaten to take the rook again, and he is forced to protect it with the king. So now I have added two attackers to the rook, but I cannot add a third attacker. So one might stop his calculation here and think, this is not going the right way. If I take now, then I'm still a bishop down. However, once we realize what can black actually do, we will see that he cannot really move. He's really stuck, and this is something we call a perpetual pin. He cannot unpin because his king has just no space to move while staying in touch with the rook. And also the bishop cannot really maneuver around because it also needs to stay on this diagonal protecting the rook. So basically the king and the bishop, they are completely paralyzed, and white can try to improve the position elsewhere. It's very fortunate for white that white has 2 versus 1 pawn on this side, because this just wins the game very easily. If white needed to move those pawns here, then things might change. And just to show you an idea, I'm not saying it's working, but if white would need to proceed on this side, then things might be a bit messy. Maybe black has some ideas like this, because once this pawn moves or captures, then the king can unpin. And things are a bit more complicated. So what white should really do is just keep this pawn on c5, and also if b6, I would just keep the pawn there, because then black will never escape this pin unless he gives up the whole rook. So in the game I just played g4, and black can just wait because this pin is there forever and he cannot move. And finally I will push the pawn and win the game. and that's what happened. At some moment he was kind of tired of waiting and gave me this rook, but then of course white is winning as well. So I hope you enjoyed this video, could learn something new about pins. Maybe you remember some other examples where there is a perpetual pin. If you have something in mind, post it in the comments below, and I hope to see you next time. Goodbye.